Dear learners, welcome to this session on constituents of the microenvironment. Now this is the third part of the unit on the environment of NGOs, and we have already discussed the environment of NGO, the basic environment of NGO and why it is required. Then we went on to discuss the macro environment, the areas of study in the macro environment, the need for the macro environment, what are the elements of the macro environment, and of course we did certain kind of an ETOP analysis to study the economic and the technological elements of the macro environment. Now in this section we would be discussing the constituents of the micro environment. The structure would be based something like this. We will discuss micro environment, then we will try to explore the constituents of the microenvironment. Why does the organizations require the microenvironment or to study the microenvironment? And then we'll take an example to analyze the microenvironment. The most important aspect in this case is that whatever the environment we are studying, basically it is applicable to the business organizations. And we all know that NGOs, they are not for profit making organizations. But is it necessary that such kind of environment is only applicable for businesses or the corporate houses? No, it is not necessary. This kind of environment can be applicable to the voluntary organizations also. So that is why the whole concept of environment is being discussed in the Introduction to NGOs Management course. Now this is very much important for the organization, specifically the voluntary sector or the civil society or the NGOs. Why? Because it is the basis on which the organizations they function. So now let us discuss the micro environment. So let us now discuss the macro environment and what is the effect of macro environment and what parts it affects the NGOs or the organization. So when we discuss the micro environment, it affects the business strategy, the basic strategy. Now I'm using this word business here. This is the business of performance or the business of functioning of NGOs. It doesn't mean it should be related to money. So it is the kind of job. So the business strategy or the strategy of the organization is affected by the micro factors. It affects the decision making of the organization. It affects the performance of the organization, and micro environment is very much necessary before making certain kind of decisions. Now this concept, the decision making concept, we would be studying in the strategy aspect, but here we require that micro environment is very important for decision making, and therefore we need to understand what are the factors which are related to the micro environment. Now let us see the micro environment and decision making concept, and then it is required because every organization is different. Now the thing here is that each of the NGOs functioning, they are different and they are different in nature. Some organizations or some voluntary sectors would be working for the old age people, some would be working for the education of the girl child, some would be working for the human trafficking aspects, some would be working related to providing food to the children. So there are different kinds of NGOs. So therefore the micro environment of that particular NGO also differs. Now apart from the micro environment, there is a relevant environment also, which is very much required for that particular organization. So therefore the decision making and the strategy aspect is also different for that organization. Now in this case, if the micro environment is studied properly, the strategy is different and the competitive edge is maintained, because the competitors, they do affect the decision making of any organization. So that is why it is very much necessary for us to study the micro environment. Let us now see a flow chart where you'll find some important constituents of the microenvironment, and this figure shows many types of constituents, though we would be discussing only specific types, but this is an overall view of the microenvironment. Now in this case, if you see, you have marketing intermediaries, and they start with the marketing intermediaries. They have the sectoral demand, they have sectoral relations climate, they have regulatory provisions, they have financial institutions. Now these are related to each other, and it is the interrelation of these to the competitors and to the skilled services. So when we talk about the micro environment as the whole, there are certain kind of service providers and service types. So when we discuss the service types can be of different types, like sectoral demand and the marketing intermediaries and the finance. And if we talk about the service providers, they can be the financial institutions and the other the suppliers, the agents, etc. So this is all about the microenvironment in the constituents of the microenvironment as a whole. Now we will discuss specific types of microenvironment in a broader aspect, and they are common to all the organizations. Let us now discuss the elements of microenvironment, and these are some 6 elements of microenvironment. And these elements, they need to be studied, and these are the constituents in fact of the microenvironment. Now the first element is the customers, the competitors, the third one is the employees, the suppliers, the market intermediaries and the public. Now these are the basic elements of microenvironment in a business house. In this case, for customers, we can always use the word stakeholders also, because in customers it is more like selling things or the things being purchased by customers, or manufacturing the product which reaches to the customers. So in this case, if the NGO is making some money through the company or through business houses, then we can use the word customers. So this is very important to understand the elements of microenvironment. Now let us discuss these elements one by one. Now customers or the stakeholders, they form the central part of the microenvironment, and we call them stakeholders because they get something out of that particular organization. Now in case of NGOs, the stakeholders will be, say, the underprivileged, the vulnerable, the distressed, and of course the customers would be people like us who are getting back something in the form of value addition or in the form of some kind of services. So we have value added services also in this. So organizations, they should have a certain kind of strategies to attract and retain the customers or the stakeholders. Now if the NGOs, they are having a certain name in the organization, in their industry or in the voluntary sector, in that particular sector, so they need to have some value added services so that people are attracted towards it. Now somebody who is funding that organization need to be attracted to that organization if that organization is providing some kind of value added services. So that is why the stakeholders are important. This is the first element or first constituent of micro environment. Now coming to the next constituent of micro environment, which is the competitors. Now competitors, it is very normal to think that we can just imagine that why would the NGOs have competitors? And this is very natural. Competition is something which is very natural, which exists across the sphere or across the different kinds of environment. The competition can be between two individuals, the competition can be between members of the household, the competition can be in any kind of service organization. The competition can be in any business house. So competition exists everywhere. So competitors also exist in the voluntary sector. Now if there are two NGOs in the same locality, each NGO would try to outperform the other and provide the value added services to get the funding, to get more people involved, to get more support from the government. For that they require to work like business houses. Whether it is a profit making organization or not for profit making organization, you require the competitors. So competitors, they do have a direct impact on organizational strategies, and NGOs require to do a certain kind of a competitive analysis of the competitors. So there is a certain kind of analysis. So they need to study the behavior of their competitors to frame their organizational strategy in such a manner that they outperform them, or they have a competitive edge towards those competitors. So how to differentiate from the competitors? This is again a very major question which arises in the minds of the organizations, specifically in case of voluntary sector. Because in corporate houses, what happens, you know what is happening in the industry, and you know the moves of the competitors also. The established business houses, they know how to tackle the competition. It may be difficult for the startups, but in case of voluntary sector, it is very, very difficult to understand or differentiate from the competitors. So if there are two NGOs in the same locality and they are working for the same cause, then they become the competitors. Now if there are two NGOs in the same locality working for a different cause, they will be in competition on different issues. They may not be in competition with their goals. So that is why we need to differentiate from the competitors by providing value added services in different manner. So there are support services offered to stakeholders. That can also be one kind of value added services. Now there are certain organizations who have a big name, and there are organizations who just go in for funding and they do not want to establish themselves. So that is where the role of competitors come. So in this case we can say that the competitors, they behave positively. In fact, they are positive catalyst to frame for the organizations to frame a good strategy and help in decision making. Now coming to the next element of or next constituent of micro environment, that is employees. Now employees are the basic asset to any organization. So employees have to be trained, and they have to be their capacities to be built in such a manner that they feel committed towards the organization. And this applies specifically for the NGOs or the voluntary sector, because most of the employees there, they work based on the commitment, and they are working voluntarily. They may be paid such certain amount of salaries, that is fine, but then they have that level of commitment. So therefore they become an asset to the organization, and therefore this is one of the main constituents of micro environment which helps the organization to achieve its goals and objectives. Because employees only sail through the turbulent times. The employees only work during the crisis situation. The employees only support the organization during different conditions arising out of unprecedented or uncertain situations, just like the present situation, crisis situation. So how do they provide support to organizations? So therefore the employees need to be trained in such a manner, or their capacity should be built in such a manner that they become the backbone of the organization. So that is why this constituent is very important for organizations. Now coming to the next constituent, and that is suppliers. Again, this term applies to the business houses. But in case of NGOs, suppliers are of different kinds. Now suppose there is an NGO which is hosting, or which is keeping which is having a dorm or dormitory of say girl children of leprosy patients or whatever the case may be. So in that case, they need to have supplies. Now, for example, we took an example of Akshay Patra. Akshay Patra provides free midday meals to the government, to the children in all the government school across the states, in different government school across the state. Now, how do they do it? How do they prepare the meal? So for that, they require the suppliers of the raw material for cooking. They require the suppliers of the raw material, and the actions of the suppliers, they have a major impact on the strategy of the organization. If the suppliers do not perform in tandem with the organization, the strategy of the organization fails. So for an organization like Akshay Patra, if the suppliers are not providing the raw food material on time and they are not offering timely services, then the food will not be prepared, the food will not be cooked, the food will not reach to the children on time. So therefore, offering timely services is very important regarding the suppliers. So when we discuss the suppliers, the role of suppliers in the microenvironment of any organization, it is important to understand that they affect the productivity of the organization also. I gave you an example of that NGO where the raw material needs to be supplied by the suppliers. Now, if they do not supply, the production of the food, cooked meal would not be there and it will be affected. So therefore, the role of suppliers is very important, and the NGOs, they require to have a specific relationship with those suppliers, and this provides an edge over the competitors. If they have good relations and on-time supplies, the productivity will increase and the organization would function in a proper manner. So therefore, the role of suppliers is very, very important. Now coming to another constituent of microenvironment, and that is the shareholders. Now in this case, we are not talking about shareholders for the voluntary sector, we are talking about the shareholders in the business houses. But we can have this concept of shareholders because somebody who is, it may not be in monetary terms, but it may be in terms of decision making, like somebody who is funding the organization can be a shareholder to seek the returns on investment in terms of the services provided to the stakeholders, and they would be a part of the decision making. So this is how shareholders can be conceptualized in terms of the voluntary organization. Now coming to the next part, and in the next part, the marketing intermediaries are very important. Now, marketing intermediaries basically are the middlemen. We call them the middlemen, who are kind of liaising officers or liaising people who from one organization to the stakeholders, they just try to build in the contact with one party to the other party. So they can be agents, they can be wholesalers, they can be retailers, they can be financial institutions. So they act like a middleman. And for NGOs, for voluntary organizations, these middlemen are very, very important. For example, financial institutions. The role of financial institutions is very important for the NGOs, because all the financial deals or all the fundings which comes to the NGOs has to be routed through the financial institutions. Then we have retailers, we have wholesalers. Now these are the middlemen who provide certain kind of services to those organizations. We have agents also, we have voluntary agents also working in the NGOs. So these are the marketing intermediaries which are required for that particular organization. Now coming to the other aspect of microenvironment, and that is public. Now in this case, public means media. So media can be of two kinds. It can be a print media, it can be a social media, and it can be a public media as well. So the relationship which the NGO maintains with media, that is important in this case. So therefore, The role of media is very, very important because it influences the organization in a different manner. It gives the status to the organization. It brings the organization to a pedestal. It gives the promotional aspect. It promotes the organization. It brings the organization to the public knowledge. It creates an awareness. So there are certain kind of media, social media platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, etc., which can be used by the NGOs for publicizing their work. So it is not marketing actually, but it is like showcasing what services the organization is offering, what kind of the role the organization is playing, and how important it is for the community. So this is the other constituent of micro environment. Now coming to the example of the micro environment, and in this example we are taking the example of the literacy program of government. So this is the assessment of micro environment. Now why do we require this assessment here? This is important because we need to understand that how effective the program is. Will it reach to the remote areas? Whether the policies related to this literacy program have been implemented? What are the socio-economic factors, or the what is the role of macro environment, whether these factors are affecting the program or not. So here the role of micro environment comes into play. So we need to assess why it is very, very important for the micro environment. Now we will see certain aspects of the assessment of the micro environment related to the literacy program of the government. Now for this case, when we do the assessment of the program, we do the assessment based on these parameters. The first parameter is the extent of diversity, the economy, the local literacy program, the levels of community development, the technical expertise required, adequacy of local development structure. So all this is very important to assess the micro environment of the program, because it is easier to place the program or to get the program passed, but it is very, very difficult to implement the program. There are n number of programs offered by government for the vulnerable section, or the disabled, or the poor, or the distressed people, but then we need to understand whether they reach to that particular set of people or particular community or not. So for this we require to analyze or assess the micro environment. Now in this case, the first aspect is the extent of diversity. We need to study how diverse this the community is, and diversity can be studied at the geographical level, the ecological level, the population level, the cultural level. Now these major aspects we would be studying in the pestle analysis, but just to give you a brief, that if we want to implement or assess the efficacy of any of the government programs or any of the policies which needs to the most diverse or rural base. So for that, first step is to understand the diversity of that particular organization, whether that program is reachable to that place or not, whether the ecological conditions allow that program to work there or not, whether the population there is ready to accept that program or not, whether their culture is providing them access to or promoting them to implement or to accept that particular program or not. So these are the certain situations or conditions which we need to study, and in our country, which is very, very diverse, this kind of analysis becomes all the more important to reach to the particular sector of the society. Now when we see the next aspect, and in the next aspect we see the economy. Economy also becomes one of the major aspects. Now if we are talking about literacy of the program, we need to understand what is the household income of the people who are going to take the literacy program. What is the household savings, whether they will be able to manage to accept the literacy program or not. So economy also plays a major role. Now, the next aspect is the levels of community development. In this case, the role of self-help groups comes into picture. There are communities where there are formal and informal groups like self-help groups existing, but there are communities where such kind of community development program doesn't exist. So we need to understand what is the literacy level of that community. Are they having certain kind of gender issues? If they are having, how to sort it out? What is the basic economic condition of those communities, whether they are having formal and informal groups, what is the culture of cohesiveness, do they have a certain kind of bonding between each of them, and what is the degree of homogeneity in between these people. So this is the levels of community development which needs to be studied while assessing the microenvironment. Coming to accessing the basic services, again this is very important because applying and implementing literacy program may be easy, but whether it is viable after the implementation or not, that is to be seen. Whether the community is self-reliant or not, if it is dependent on certain people or certain issues, or they are facing certain challenges, then it becomes very, very difficult. What is the role of empowerment there? Do they work on empowering themselves? First of all themselves and then the community. If this particular thing is accessible, if this particular thing is applicable there, they can access to basic services. Then we have adequacy of local development structures, where we can see whether they have certain school buildings, they have a proper infrastructure, where the roads are there, roads in a proper condition, where the children can commute from school to their homes, that is the access to schools, whether they have certain educated or skilled teachers and staff in the school who are going to carry forward the literacy program. All these factors, they need to be considered, and all these factors, they come under the microenvironment aspect. They fall under different categories of the microenvironment which we have already discussed. So, to summarize the whole concept, we can say that the microenvironment constituents, they have a substantial impact on each and every organization, and competition is one of the most important area which needs to be assessed. And these microenvironment constituents, they help the organization in shaping their strategies in a formative manner, and they help in decision making. Thank you so much.